On August 23 of 2009, Toni Sharpless vanished after leaving a party at Philadelphia 76ers Willie Green's home. Following a disagreement with her friend Crystal Johns, Toni drove off alone and hasn't been seen ever since. Initial theories that she might have driven into the nearby river were dismissed when searches yielded no results. 2 weeks later, an automated license plate reader detected her car in Camden, New Jersey, but it was never found. In 2013, an anonymous letter claimed that Toni was killed during a confrontation with a Camden police officer, and her car was taken to Boston. The letter included details that had not been made public, but police dismissed it as a hoax. Investigator Eileen Law, hired by Toni's mother, continues to believe Toni may have been taken by human traffickers. Despite suspicions about Crystal, police cleared her of involvement. The case remains unsolved, and Eileen Law, Toni's private investigator, tirelessly pursued leads, holding on to hope that Toni might still be alive. Welcome back, guys, to Weeknight Mysteries. I'm Rain, usually the co-host, but now the main host. Hello, yours, the co-host. How are you today?
I'm good. I mean, the summary was pretty nice, so thank you once more.
Thank you. We had 2 takes, maybe 3, but thank you for your patience.
The biggest problem was Philadelphia 76ers.
I actually didn't know what that was prior to this research, and I had to Google it.
Okay. No, we know about the NBA here in Lithuania. We are big basketball fans. Okay, Toni Sharpless disappearance case. Pretty mysterious, right? A woman, 29-year-old nurse from the state of Pennsylvania. She goes on a party.
Yeah.
And seemingly leaves the party intoxicated and drives...
And sleepless, by the way.
Yeah, sleepless for a lot of hours and leaves the party and basically drives off into the night and is never seen again. And then 2 weeks later, we have her car, or at least the license plates of her car, getting captured on a license plate reader as she was crossing.
Or was it Toni?
Someone was driving her car and they crossed the river into Camden, New Jersey. And I think there was also sightings of Toni in Camden, New Jersey following her disappearance. I mean, it's a pretty bizarre case. You would probably think that this woman probably ran into some sort of an accident, right? Because she was intoxicated. But I do think that, to me, the more I think about Toni's case, the more I keep thinking that there's foul play involved.
Yeah.
And something very strange has happened, especially because her vehicle essentially was captured driving around basically Philadelphia area 2 weeks after Toni had already vanished. So the main question is, was Toni driving her car 2 weeks afterwards, or was it someone else?
That's true. Well, before we discuss that, maybe we could go a little bit over her background.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And get to know her better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Toni Sharpless, I love the name, by the way.
Very
the
good
last name.
Yeah, very cool name.
Yeah, she was a 29-year-old young mother. She had one 12-year-old daughter from the time she disappeared, and she was from Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
So just quickly stopping, she had the daughter at a very early age because she was only 29 herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she had her daughter. Was it the daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, daughter.
12-year-old daughter.
So she had her when she was 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she was living in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, which is like around 46 to like 50 minutes away from the main city, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, it's a smaller town, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely. And specifically, she lived in like a smaller suburb called West Brandywine Township, which had like 70,000 people by 2009.
Okay, it's just a settlement in Pennsylvania state.
Yeah, and diving a little bit more into her childhood, she struggled with mental health disorder, particularly bipolar disorder, when she was young and throughout her childhood, and when she was a teenager and into adulthood.
And isn't it so that it was only diagnosed?
Yeah, it was completely undiagnosed when she was younger, but was only diagnosed when she became an adult.
Okay.
But her family kept this as a secret, and they tried so many different medications to control it. So it was serious, right? And
she did find something that worked.
yeah, eventually, but
Right.
not when she was growing up.
Not when she was growing up, yeah. But we don't really have any information about, Toni's childhood or anything like that. Doesn't seem like she got into too much trouble in her, teenage years. At least I didn't find anything during my research.
Ooh, from the way I read a couple of articles, apparently she had drug and alcohol abuse as her age progressed.
Yeah, but I do think that this is maybe already
Adulthood?
in the early adulthood. That's what I understood, right? And she did have a recent speeding ticket. No, sorry, not speeding
DUI.
ticket, DUI. Drunk driving ticket recently. And didn't she complete rehab shortly prior to her disappearance? I mean, I'm sure you're gonna get into some of these details, so sorry for derailing this.
No, this is perfect. In 2008, it was a year before she actually disappeared. She got arrested of DUI, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
and she spent like the whole month of April of 2009, months before she disappeared, in a rehab.
So just a month prior to disappearing, she
Yeah,
spent.
she disappeared. When did she disappear? Like
I think
August?
she disappeared on August 23rd, which was early morning hours on a Sunday after, remember, having
yeah.
that party on the Saturday. And yeah, she disappeared in August, but in April, just a few months prior, she spent the whole month
In a rehab.
In a rehab facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, she got a DUI a year to
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
She went in a rehab April of 2019, and then she disappeared. 2009, I meant, not 2019.
Okay, I guess this kind of builds.
Crazy.
I guess this kind of builds some sort of a picture, like a better picture of her life. Like she seems like she's struggling with alcohol at the very least, but then she also is a young mother. She is, I believe, studying, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh.
Or she had recently completed her studies, but she was still paying off her tuition fees.
It was actually quite impressive how she managed to like deal with everything, because
Yeah.
she had a bipolar disorder and alcohol and drug abuse and so on and so forth. But
Legal problems.
yeah, legal problems. But despite all of that, she managed to work during the weekends
and
raise a kid.
Raise a kid. That's amazing.
Yeah, she was a nursing assistant at the local rehab center, and she apparently saved up all those money and paid for her own education herself.
Okay, so seems like she's definitely on point at that point, and she was really trying to make something happen. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely like,
It's really impressive, though.
it's an inspiring story so far.
And eventually, she became a nurse
Yeah.
at the local hospital.
Yeah. Do we know any information about the father of her daughter? I know that this is probably completely not related to her disappearance case, but I am curious. Was it ever mentioned? Have you ever
No.
noticed anything?
I tried, and no mention of the father, the kid's
Yeah,
father.
same
at
here.
all.
Same here. I guess he just doesn't play a part in this story.
Yeah, seems so.
Apparently
Maybe
so.
they don't even talk about him. Completely out of the family's story.
Well, I guess he was not in any way involved in her disappearance.
That's true. But yeah, going back, April of 2009, not 2019, Toni went to rehab for the whole month, and afterwards, that's when they found a combination of medicine that actually worked for her
Okay.
mental health, but for her bipolar disorder. But, please, and take note, she did not always take them.
She did not always take them. And isn't it the case that that medication or that combination of drugs, well, it basically was what should I say, counterproductive when it was also taken with alcohol? Like alcohol will make it even worse,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right?
Yeah, just a quick story. I remember I was a young, like in my later teens, I had a flu, but my friend invited me for a party.
And you had to go to the
same
party,
day.
of course.
So, yeah, I drank medicine in the morning. I think it was like antibiotic or something. Can't remember much. And then I went to the party and I completely forgot about it because I felt a little bit better. and they asked me like to drink and stuff
You had
like
a
that.
few. You had a few drinks.
I had a few drinks, and on the way back, I was completely sick, like 3 times worse.
Okay. So you have first-hand experience of drinks backfiring.
Yeah, not recommended at all.
All right. Yeah. Damn. I'm glad you didn't go missing.
No, I was with like a bunch of friends who actually were super responsible, took me back. It was just crazy.
Okay, at least you had someone looking out for you.
Yeah.
Unlike Toni, right? But we're gonna get into that. Toni Sharpless.
Yeah, we could immediately jump right into it on the night
Alright.
of her disappearance.
Yes, so this is, walk me through it. So this is Saturday 9 p.m. if
August
I remember.
22.
Yeah, August 22nd, 2009. It's 9 p.m. in the evening. Toni and her, well, recently, I guess, a friend that she kind of rekindled her friendship with, a woman named Crystal Johns. The two of them go out for a all night long party on the Saturday night, on a summer's night in Pennsylvania, which kind of makes sense to me. But I did recall that her parents, Toni's parents, told the media that Toni was not really an outgoing person, or like she wasn't really into that whole, partying lifestyle.
Yeah, and
So
she
was-
devoted all of her time to her kid, actually.
Yeah, so whose idea was it? Do you think that Crystal Jones heavily
Yeah.
influenced Toni to go out
Oh
that
yeah,
night?
definitely.
Okay.
It seems so. It seems like, I don't know, I'm getting the picture of like two friends who haven't reconnected in so long. They managed to reconnect again, meet up, and Crystal was just like, come on, let's hang out. Get out for a
Alright.
bit. Let
Okay,
loose.
so where did they go first? Do you have that information?
Yeah. They went around town, actually.
They went to Ice nightclub, right?
Yeah, in King of Prussia.
It's a cool name.
I honestly thought that was a nightclub. I kept on Googling.
King of Prussia is a city or like a
Yeah.
town, and it had a nightclub that's not all operational anymore, according to Yelp. It's closed down, but back in the day, it was a nightclub called Ice.
Yeah, when I was reading into it, I thought the name of the club was King of Prussia, and I thought, what? That's a really cool name, but I couldn't seem to find anything about it.
It's a even cooler town name.
Yeah, that's true. So yep, they went to Ice in the area of King of Prussia, and then another nightclub in downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Do you know the name of that nightclub?
G Lounge.
Ooh.
Yeah, spicy.
And then afterwards, they went to Willie Green's house.
Yeah, so wait, let's stop here for a few seconds. So within G Lounge, right? I think that's where isn't it in G Lounge that the NBA player Willie Green was partying also?
Actually, there are like two contradicting stories about
Ah,
it.
okay,
One
okay.
story is that Crystal's brother, knew Willie Green.
So
and she already-
Tony's recent best friend
yeah. So the
knew
two
the
ladies.
knew the brother of the NBA guy.
No, from the way I understood it, Toni and Crystal went around town partying.
The G
but
Lounge.
Crystal's brother
Mm-hmm.
knew Willie Green, and she already had an invitation. Crystal already had an
Oh,
invitation.
that's not what I heard. What I've looked into it was that Crystal knew Willie Green's brother.
Oh.
I think that's the right info. At least that's what it says on the Wikipedia.
Yeah, I mean, yours sounds more credible.
Either way, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
And then the second, I don't know what you call it, theory, not theory.
Like,
Reason they went to the party
okay.
was that Willie Green was in G Lounge. And they
Oh,
met
so it's
there.
not known if Willie Green was actually at G Lounge at this point.
Yeah.
We just know that the two women were in G Lounge and they were having a good time, right? What were they doing in G Lounge? Were they taking some alcohol? Do you have any idea? I'm just asking you because I don't know this information.
Yeah, as far as I know, they kept drinking.
They kept having some drinks. Oh, I remember hearing something about how apparently Toni was actually drinking it up with the people at the party. So she was apparently, I think it was mentioned that she didn't have a problem keeping up with the drinks of the other people at the club.
Ooh.
So she was out there drinking some drinks. Well, I mean, if I was there with Willie Green, I'd be like, put it on Willie's tab.
Okay.
I'd be buying so much drinks on his tab.
No, but for our audience members who, like me, maybe just a couple of days ago, did not know who Willie Green is.
I mean, he's not that big of a name, but still, he's in the NBA.
I googled him. There's a bunch of pictures of him. And I was like, oh, he's an important person.
Yeah, he puts a ball
Pretty
in the
famous.
basket. He's very important. You know what I mean? It's very important. It's an important job. To put
No,
a-
but I meant he's famous.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat famous.
True. But I
Okay.
did not hear about them. But then again, I also don't know about Philadelphia 76ers, so my basketball knowledge is like slightly, well, close to none, basically.
Yeah. So what do you do next? They go back to Willie's house
Yeah, well,
in
okay.
Penn Valley.
Okay, first they went to Ice, King of Prussia area, nice club. Nice club. And then afterwards, they drove to downtown Philadelphia. And then they went to Willie Green's house. Now, to paint a better picture, King of Prussia is like 57 minutes away from downtown city center. So they drove to one nightclub. They went to one nightclub, drove 57 minutes to downtown, another nightclub, G Lounge, and then they drove again upwards back to where they came from. But in the middle of it, that's where Willie Green was living.
Okay, I have a different question. So who's driving the car? Because surely Toni and Crystal are having drinks
Exactly.
at each nightclub.
Same
So
question.
does that mean that Toni keeps driving the car? Because it was Toni's car.
I'm assuming so, because that was her
Because we
car.
know because we know that she was drinking in G Lounge. So does that mean that she is driving around in her car drunk?
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense. Now look at here. We're now watching this, and we're gonna be posting this on the YouTube channel. We are looking at 1317 Bow Barn Drive.
Can you even say that on YouTube? Like,
Yes, because I found this.
announce Willie Green's address.
I mean, I found it on Google, so I'm pretty sure we could dox Willie Green here. So we're looking at Willie Green's house that he paid, I think, like $700,000 back in 2006 or something like that.
Ooh.
And this is his house, and this is where Willie Green lived, and this is where the after party was happening, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty fancy.
Okay, so walk me through the after party. We have Toni Sharpless there. We have Crystal Jones. Who else is at this beautiful two-story home in suburban, what is it, like Philadelphia suburbs, I could call it?
Yeah, you can actually.
So who was at the party? Who do we know was at the party?
Willie Green, of course.
Yeah, it's his place, so of course.
Yeah, a couple of his very close friends. I'm not sure if the brother was there, honestly. But all I know is that it was not the big party that you and me thought of. Because initially I thought it was like a rave, like so many people are in there. But it was described more as kind of more like a small gathering instead of a party. Just a few friends here and there. Crystal
Okay.
and Toni.
Yeah, it was described as like less of a
Less of
a party, more of a friends gathering.
Yeah.
And Toni Sharpless is at one point she breaks a bottle of champagne. At this point, she is already thinking that people are basically talking behind her back.
Yeah, but that's, I think, after they played a game. They first played a game called Taboo.
Taboo.
I don't
Okay.
know. I've never heard of it, or I don't even know the rules on how to play it.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, but apparently Toni said a remark to Crystal about Willie Green. And it's kind of more of like an ethnic slur. We do not
like a
have any.
racial thing?
I think so, but we don't have any information of what that was.
Wait,
And
did she say that?
I'm not sure. No idea.
Okay.
And then Willie apparently became super offended.
Because Willie Green is black. I just
Yeah.
want to mention this fact.
And yeah, Willie expressed that he became offended, and Toni got angry, and her behavior became more and more erratic as she already felt that the other guests were making fun of her, essentially, throughout the party.
All right.
Okay, but before we continue with the story, I just wanna say one more thing that I kind of forgot to tell. Toni's daughter, the 12-year-old daughter, couldn't even sleep that night before Toni and Crystal went to the party. So they were just around the nightclub. I'm not sure if it's the first one or the second one, but her daughter started texting her like, maybe mom, I couldn't fall asleep. And by 2:57 a.m., Toni told her daughter to go to sleep and she would be home very soon. But
I do think that happened in G Lounge. I remember this
G
detail.
Lounge.
In G Lounge, yeah. So as Toni was in G Lounge, I think her 12-year-old daughter texted her that she missed her and she can't sleep. And then Toni told her daughter that she's gonna be right back and just go to sleep.
yeah. But
But that just immediately tells me that this was a really not regular thing for Toni, because
her daughter couldn't sleep.
yeah, your
without
daughter
her.
can't even sleep without knowing that mom is somewhere close. So you could tell that Toni and her daughter had a very close bond.
Yeah, but the big but there is her phone was never been used after that text, and it was actually turned off around 4 a.m.
Okay.
I think they were still in Willie Green's house. So I don't think it's kind of anyway connected to her disappearance. Maybe she was already really drunk. She just wanted to turn her phone off to avoid any troubles.
Maybe it ran out of battery.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
But I checked the timeline and it seems like her phone died somewhere when they were somewhere around Willie Green's house when they were still there.
Okay. But what happened? How did things escalate in the house?
Yeah, so the ethnic slur, and then Toni's behavior became more and more erratic because she thought the people that were present in that party were starting to make fun of her.
Okay.
And
she broke a bottle of champagne.
yeah, that's when
Right.
she broke a bottle of champagne on the floor. And
Okay.
she began kicking things. This is around 5 a.m. And then Willie Green, he just went to Crystal, Toni's new friend again, who was in the swimming pool, by the swimming pool. And Willie told her that maybe it's time for them to go home because Toni was becoming more and more erratic as time progressed. And that's when the ladies, Toni and Crystal, gathered all of their belongings and left Willie Green's house. And then since Toni was really drunk and acting really strange, Crystal attempted to take the car keys from Toni because Crystal was a little more sober, let's put it that way. But apparently Toni was still very angry and was crying and accused Crystal of also making fun of her.
Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine it.
And
Anyways.
what happened?
There was this I can't say the word, but butthole from the house who saw them arguing, and instead of like being nice, the man called out from the house warning them to be careful not to hit any other cars.
Okay, and he said it in like a joking manner.
A joking manner, yeah.
I bet he regrets
Definitely.
saying that, knowing that Toni basically vanished right after.
Okay, but Crystal was a nice friend because she also asked Toni if she could or should be able to drive because of her condition and the fact that she had DUI in her records.
And she was intoxicated.
And she hasn't slept for some reason for 36 hours straight.
Maybe she came right after a night shift at like, you know how nurses maybe do like 24-hour shifts? Like I bet it's like what do you call it? You have to like kind of stay on duty for like 24 hours.
On call?
On call or like you have to be present in the hospital for like 24 hours, and then maybe after that she kind of went out on this
Yeah, I think so.
on
And
this night out, and then
Crystal invited her and she was like, okay.
she started drinking alcohol. Maybe the medication got affected, and now she was not being herself anymore.
I mean, everything that happened are just so bad combined.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad
No sleep, alcohol, so much alcohol, driving, and medication.
exactly. Okay, so what happens next, right? So they're in the car.
Yeah, so
they do
imagine
leave.
driving. They're driving a little bit.
They did drive 2 blocks, I think, down the road when Crystal...
They were arguing.
Yeah, and Crystal said to Toni that I don't think you should be driving anymore.
Yeah.
And then Toni flipped out. Toni told Crystal to get out the car. And then Toni drove away.
Yeah.
And this is like 5 a.m. in the morning, something like that.
So it's still pretty dark out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Crystal was expecting Toni to come back for her, like as a friend. You won't really leave your friend all alone in the dark. But Toni never did. And after a few minutes, Crystal tried calling Toni's phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Which makes sense so far because her phone was already turned off at 4 a.m.
So Crystal initially thought that maybe Toni will turn around.
Yeah,
and come
because it
back
was
for
just an argument.
And how long did she wait for Toni?
If I remember correctly, somewhere around like 15 minutes?
Yeah, like an hour.
Ish, yeah.
Why would you wait an hour?
No idea.
That's a long time to wait.
Really?
Some people found it pretty suspicious.
You think so?
I think the family members, I think her stepfather said in some interview that it's kind of strange that Crystal Jones would just stand there for an hour.
Yeah, but I believe the police also checked her like phone logs and her story checked out.
Yeah, her story apparently checked out. So what happened to Crystal? I think her nephew or something like that came out.
So apparently Crystal went back to Willie Green's house for the party, really embarrassed apparently. And then she waited for her nephew to pick her up. The next day she called Toni's house. I think her sister, Toni's sister's name is Candy.
Yeah, Toni Sharpless.
And Crystal started ranting out about how Toni left her hanging in there in the party. But Candy was like, she's not here.
I think it was a situation where isn't it so that Toni left some of her personal items in Crystal's place, and now Crystal...
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, so Crystal calls Toni's sister Toni Sharpless and told basically Candy that, you know, Toni left me out here and then she drove away. And then I think...
Pick her things up.
Yeah, and I think Candy just checked in with Toni's, basically their mother, because Toni was living with the mother and the stepfather and the daughter, and Toni didn't return home. And then, before you know it, police got involved because someone reported her as a missing person. She hasn't been seen ever since then. And then 2 weeks later, what happened? Her license plate reader... Oh, not her license plate reader, but she was her car's numbers, license plate numbers were captured by a license plate reader
in Camden, New Jersey,
or like driving past the bridge into Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah, from like the Delaware River, I think.
Yeah, I think so, right? And then I think Camden, New Jersey, from what I've been able to find out, has a pretty stingy like reputation, and apparently it has a lot of like chop shops, which is basically a chop shop is basically a place where you bring a car that is recently stolen, and then it's gonna be dismantled and sold for parts.
Oh, so it was a thing there then.
Yeah, apparently I've seen someone mention this, that the place where she was last seen, or at least where her car was last seen, is known for that type of activity.
That's really intriguing, especially in this case.
All right. And I don't think we have any more information after that.
Yeah, it's
Or
like...
were you able to find something? Oh, the letter. Sorry. Let's jump to the letter. So her family hires a private investigator named
Eileen Law,
who apparently doesn't even take any money from the family. I've read somewhere that she only took $1 as a symbolic payment in order to make her services legal. So she was really doing this pro bono.
Yeah.
And she took up Toni's case. And she has been investigating for a few years. And what happened? I think 2013, she receives a mysterious letter.
Oh no, but before that, I have to tell you all about the tips that came in.
Oh yeah, tell me about the tips, yeah.
Because Eileen Law, the private investigator, posted like her posters and like call this hotline if you have tips and if you, any sightings of Toni.
Okay.
And there were some people who reported seeing Toni around the Philadelphia area, from Lancaster, from where Toni worked in Lancaster to some place called the Kenneth Square. Everything's in Philly.
In Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. And then there was this weird tip from a woman who apparently was doing a night shift in another town in Philadelphia. And it was like 24.5 miles away from Downingtown, where Toni had lived. And she said that she was going home one night around 1 a.m. when she noticed a black sedan in Camden beneath an overpass after crossing the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Apparently, she notified the police, but when the police checked, there was no record of the call.
So I bet the woman... Okay, wait. So Eileen Law, the private investigator, received a tip about how someone had allegedly seen Toni's car under the bridge,
yeah.
the Franklin Bridge. And then when Eileen Law contacted law enforcement told Eileen Law that this tip has never been submitted to them.
Yes.
And I bet it was never investigated.
Yes, it was never investigated again. But that all of the tips...
But that's interesting. Do you know when it was reported?
Nope. No.
Okay. So I just assume it was soon
maybe
after.
Around like October, September, soon after.
Same year.
Yeah, same year, I bet. But all of the reported sightings, all of the people who called in to give in their the tips, it led Eileen Law to believe that Toni was around the area, Philadelphia. Or around Camden in Philadelphia. But you also have to take a note that Toni's car, on the night she disappeared when she drove away from Crystal, apparently was very low on gas. Really low. And they had less than a quarter of the tank full.
And her credit cards had no activity. So that begs the question, how would she have enough money to fill up the gas tank?
Exactly.
So maybe she's not driving the car anymore at this point.
That's what I'm thinking. I think maybe she, with a quarter of a tank full, and they went everywhere.
So wait, okay, so let's move past that. We get a mysterious letter.
Okay, you handle that one.
2013 letter. So apparently someone writes a letter to Eileen Law, and it's a man who claims that an acquaintance of his contacted him and told him that he would be paid $5,000 if he takes Toni's car to a chop shop in Boston.
Who paid him though?
A friend, or like, a friend of a friend.
Interesting.
So basically he takes the car, and this is all what he claims in the letter, that he took the car to Boston and he got paid $5,000 and he also got to keep the license plate.
Why would you want to keep a license plate?
I have no idea.
Like
This
what,
is,
for souvenirs?
I have no idea. Maybe
a trophy?
maybe it's
very
hard to
odd.
come by these license plates. Regardless, so as he returned back to the Philadelphia area after taking the car to Boston, apparently he learns about why he had to take the car to Boston. And his friend explained that his other friend, who was a police officer, got into an altercation with Toni Sharpless in Camden, and Toni Sharpless was murdered subsequently, or killed by accident by that police guy. And then law enforcement, the police officer, he wanted the car out of Pennsylvania as soon as possible. So he paid $5,000 for someone to bring it out of there. But I think it's very kind of far-fetched, because you are already in Camden, a place allegedly known for a lot of chop shops. Why even bother bringing in another person into this whole ordeal and then paying them money to take the car to a place in Boston? Why can't you take the car to Boston? Just call in sick one day and you take the car to Boston. Or why do you even need to move it anywhere? Apparently there are so many chop shops in Pennsylvania that you could just leave it there.
But he might get recognized though, whoever this police officer guy was. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
but I
trying
mean,
to
you're-
protect his identity.
I doubt it, because he's bringing in more people into it. You're bringing in a random guy who later on spills the beans to Eileen Law in a letter.
Yeah, but they never really got to know who this police guy was. So it worked.
No, I don't think it was even. I think it was a hoax. Honestly, I'm getting hoax vibes from this.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting hoax vibes. I don't think this guy who wrote the letter is credible.
No, but he provided some information, no?
Allegedly, that wasn't known, but I did read that her VIN number that he mentioned in the letter, her vehicle's VIN number, which is like a unique vehicle identification number, has been previously mentioned in police reports. So
Oh.
that information was released publicly. So I think the only thing that he had provided that wasn't allegedly known publicly was her phone number. But I do think that her phone number is probably, you could get a hold of it somehow. Maybe you ask through Facebook groups, and I think someone maybe knows the number, and then you just write it in the email and it checks out, because at that point, if you're a hoaxer, you really only need to find one piece of alleged like a detail that has not been mentioned, and then you go for it, and then you send your hoaxy letter, and then boom, you end up on a Wikipedia page.
Hoaxy letter.
Yeah, and then apparently people might believe that you did it. So I do think that, in my opinion, that guy who wrote the letter, it was a hoax.
But what's the
I did
intention
not
though?
believe it. I mean, what's the intention for any hoax?
No, but it's so detailed. And I could
It's
actually
not super
see.
detailed. It's not super detailed. It's just a random letter.
No, but I could actually
You
see
could
it happening.
ask ChatGPT to make that story, and you have the letter right there.
No, but I can imagine that happening. Toni, erratic, sleepless, intoxicated, driving in the middle of the dark. She might have seen some police. She was still erratic.
No, is that a possibility? Yes, but did some police guy contacted a friend who contacted another friend? So basically, you're basically telling two other people about how you killed someone, and now you're gonna even pay money to your friend's friend so that he could take the car to Boston. It just logistically, it's stupid. It's stupid. You're a police officer, and you're already. Why are you asking a friend of a friend?
Maybe you really trust that friend.
No, I think it's all phony, and I think law enforcement. That's why they didn't even pay attention to it, because I
Or
think
maybe they did not pay attention.
because
it
they
was
are
real.
and law enforcement wants to cover it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I just don't buy it. That whole letter, I don't buy it. Okay, so what we have here essentially now is we have a 29-year-old woman who had not slept for 36 hours.
I can't even imagine
Worked two double shifts, and she was on medication for her bipolar disorder, which starts working in the other direction after she has drinks. She had drinks in G Lounge, I think it was mentioned. And on top of that, she has been driving the vehicle everywhere around Pennsylvania after having drinks in like multiple areas. I don't understand how that's happening. And then she ends up in Willie Green's house of a former NBA basketball player. Now, one thing leads to another. There are some arguments. She leaves the house. She is intoxicated. She drives away. She leaves her friend out of the car and she's never seen again. Now, she did disappear close to a river, and Adventures with Purpose, that YouTube channel that kind of covers these types of cases, they even refused to do that case, to search the river, because they believe that her car was definitely caught on the license plate reader crossing the bridge 2 weeks later. So how does her car cross the bridge? What do you think happened there? Do you think
I really think it wasn't her.
It wasn't her?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Can you imagine? Just imagine. Sleepless person.
Yeah.
Drunk. Tired. Intoxicated. I just said, yep. And with a bipolar disorder. And not to mention upset. Really upset.
But who was it? Okay, sorry.
I think she encountered some bad people along the way.
Yeah, because she maybe ran out of gas and someone came to help, but actually it wasn't help. It was a culprit who took advantage.
She got into an altercation because apparently she was erratic.
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Yeah, and whoever that person was might have done something terrible to her and then tried to cover the whole thing up.
And I do think that maybe when the car got caught going into Camden is known for not being a great area, or at least that's what I read online. And I think maybe when the car was already going into Camden, it was already being, I don't know, maybe going into a chop shop to get dismantled.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
I think so. I do wonder what happened. How far did Toni Sharpless drive away after she dropped off Crystal Johns? How far did she get out of...
With a quarter of a tank, less than a quarter of a tank.
Yeah. Do you think she got out of Penn Valley, that suburb neighborhood? She probably did, because Penn Valley is a affluent neighborhood. So it's probably less likely that she would have encountered potential criminals there.
Mm-hmm. Wait, let me check how far her place is from the city center. So it was like 50 minutes away from Philadelphia. Downingtown is 50 minutes away from Philadelphia. So probably
50?
50. Or like an hour, let's say.
So that's a long distance. It seems like everything is so far away in America.
It seems so, right?
Yeah.
So probably less, because she was not in the city center anymore. But still, it's a pretty long drive.
It's a long drive. I mean, 50...
Very little gas left.
Yeah, 50 minutes. That's a long drive. But I'm always surprised how in America 50 minutes seems like it's just a quick drive.
Yeah, it's like in and out.
In and out. 50 minutes on the road. God damn, that's half across Lithuania.
That's true.
Okay, so do you think she was heading home?
Definitely. To see her daughter. I don't think she ran away.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think she ran away and started a new life on her own.
Good point.
Just because she was upset.
Yeah.
Because it's so obvious that she loved her daughter. And she
very
wouldn't
much,
ever do that.
It was her whole life, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And her family seemed to be very nice. And there's not like a reported issue with them.
Yeah.
No family problems. And seems like they were a very loving family. So I don't really think she ran away. I think something happened on the way to her home.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could be happening. On the way back home, I would vote for this. That she ran out of gas and she was on the road at night asking for help. And she either had someone who had bad intentions immediately, or she got into a second altercation with whomever stopped to help her. Mm-hmm. Or maybe even the police. Who knows? Maybe even the police got involved here. One way or another, I just think that it's a really unfortunate case because Toni Sharpless was someone that clearly was about to make it happen.
Yeah.
She was about
She
to
was
make it.
trying.
She was trying. She was about to make something happen and it was going so well. And then, damn, it's been what, 15 years? I really hope we'll find something more.
That's true.
But at this point, I don't think we have any more. Toni Sharpless vanished.
Oh, no, but I still have one question for you.
Okay.
Do you think she and her car vehicle ended up somewhere in the river?
I don't think so. Because it was driven 2 weeks after across the river. Across the bridge. So I don't think it's in the river.
Okay.
I don't think so.
And do you think Crystal...
I think her car is somewhere in Camden.
How about Crystal?
Dismantled. Crystal, I think she's innocent.
You think so? Her family doesn't... Tony's family doesn't seem to believe so.
Okay. So what did Crystal do in your opinion?
No, I think she's completely innocent. I'm just opening up that her family thinks that something happened in the party and everything is a cover.
And everyone's in on it, even Willie Green,
no,
the
I don't think so.
multi-millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big secret.
A very big secret.
Yeah,
and apparently
if it's true, there's a lot of people that need to keep their mouths shut if it's true. And Willie Green never publicly mentioned it ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think so though.
Yeah, I don't think so either because apparently Crystal was very cooperative, like extra cooperative.
Yeah, I think so.
She wants her friend to be found.
Yeah.
So I think she's completely innocent. Just my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, next one. Do you think it could have been trafficking or murder?
Well, I do think that it was foul play, and I somehow don't believe that she is alive anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, because there was still another tip in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Someone told a reporter from Philadelphia that there was a woman that you've seen, whoever was the random person who gave the tip, that looked like Toni Sharp, and she was a dancer in a Midwestern city. And apparently all the descriptions were confirmed. Like body piercings and stretch marks, etc., etc.
Okay, that's interesting because before you said that all of the body, like the piercings and unique characteristics were identified before that, I would have just said it's another random tip that makes no sense, and it's just
Toni Sharp's doppelganger or something.
Yeah,
or someone who looks like her.
But now that you mentioned,
right?
Yeah, the piercings. But what does that mean? That Toni Sharpless gave up on her life and went to Texas?
No.
And started stripping? This is stupid.
No, it could be the case of trafficking.
Trafficking to be a stripper?
Maybe.
Does that really happen?
I don't think so.
In Midwest America,
maybe we just don't know about it.
Yeah, you get kidnapped from Pennsylvania, and then you're forced to being.
Anything could happen. It's unlikely.
I guess, but I just find it personally so unlikely that someone kidnapped Toni Sharpless in the middle of the night in an affluent neighborhood, and then they force her to become a Midwestern stripper.
I think.
What?
Yeah, that's very true. Actually,
it's a crazy.
I honestly
outcome.
think it's not true, mainly because
from
the way we researched and from the way we knew Toni Sharp, at least from everything, from internet, because we don't know her personally, it seems like she's a very strong-willed person
she's a nurse.
Yeah, who loves her daughter, who loved her daughter very much, and even if she was trafficked, she would do her best to come back to the family
immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, she did 2 night shifts in the nursing spot, so she's definitely not someone who's
gather attention.
Yeah, who's gonna be okay, I'm just gonna be a stripper now for the rest of my life.
Your life.
Yeah. Who my daughter's
12-year-old gonna grow up
missing
sad.
me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Too bad I'm here in Kentucky.
I think if she had the chance to go back to her daughter, she would have.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think it's not credible. Okay. I do think that whatever happened to her, it was foul play, and we just need to find out. We just need to find out who did it. We just need to find out who did it. Maybe not even law enforcement. person as
Yeah,
well,
and-
because that's just a crazy tip. I think that's also fake. I think it's probably not the cop.
It's pretty crazy about. It's pretty crazy how, like, most of the crime, not really most, maybe a lot of crimes in Philadelphia involve like car theft.
Really?
Yeah. Because I read somewhere, some article that someone actually tried to find Tony's car in the river. And instead of finding Tony's
They
car,
found like 12 other cars.
yeah, they found 12 others. Like,
But that's not just
crazy.
Philadelphia. I think that happens everywhere.
You think so?
Yeah, I've seen those episodes of like Adventures with Purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They keep pulling out cars like it's nothing.
What?
Yeah, because apparently a lot of people are dumping their cars.
In the river?
Yeah, maybe stolen cars or cars that they need to get rid of quickly. Think about it, it's the best place to get rid of a car.
Yeah, that's
Because where are you going to put a car? It's either the river or the junkyard. But in the junkyard, you already involve more people. So I think if you're going to get rid of a car, you're going to dump it in the river. It makes sense that over the years, there's a bunch of them piling up in there. Think about it. Where would you put a car if you had to get rid of it quickly?
Yeah, that's true. Here, I found the information. The police, the Texas firm that was hired to scan the river found 12 vehicles, 9 of which had been reported stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Makes
3
perfect
were
sense.
untraceable since the VINs were removed.
So probably also stolen.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's...
Do you think if they start like looking for cars in the Vilnius River in Neris, do you think they'll find something?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Right?
To see what we could find at the bottom of this like Lithuanian river. I think we would find some vehicles, I'm not gonna lie. Especially like old school vehicles from like the early 2000s. I do think we'd find something.
Like during the Soviet Union?
No, not even Soviet Union.
Way
like,
back?
Not even that way back. Just let's go like 10 years back. Cars were getting stolen in this country a lot as well. So I think we would find a bunch of cars actually.
So it's not like I don't know.
It's a common thing.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
So now let's conclude. What do you think?
There could also be another possibility.
Okay, one more
A
possibility.
relapse.
A relapse. Okay, yeah, and that she somehow. But then who got her car?
True. And if there's a relapse, wouldn't she have like, I don't know, a moment of clarity to go back home? I don't know much about it.
No, I don't think so.
Highly
Somehow,
unlikely.
yeah, somehow I think she ran into the wrong person
Definitely.
in the night. But
yeah, I'm going towards that idea too.
yeah.
It's just really unfortunate.
Yeah. But I hope that, people listening to the podcast, well, maybe this was interesting for you to listen to Toni Sharpless' disappearance. I hope that people who listen to this will leave some comments, especially on the YouTube channel, and you give us some of your theories about what may have happened to
Theories, thoughts, ideas, maybe some suggestions for
some
future
other
cases?
some other cases that you would like us to talk about. And as always, we will catch you very soon.
See ya.
Thank you for listening and talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.